Women excel at giving. We're raised to give and naturally look for ways to help others. So, how can you use this talent to your advantage in your career? Networking doesn't have to be a dirty word. You can learn to love spending time building your network if you just have the right mindset. So, after building my own network as a giver, I'm going to share with you some of the best tips for how I've created a reputation as someone people can count on and who they turn to when they need an expert. I was recently consulted by a doctoral student when analyzing her data. I was quoted in Fast Company magazine, and I've been invited as a podcast guest and to collaborate with other social media influencers as a result of the reputation that I've built. In this episode, we are going to explore a whole new way to look at creating your network by building relationships that matter with people that you enjoy spending time with. So stick around because relationships are important to leaders, and they are more important the higher you rise. So if you have room for improvement in your networking strategy, even if you've been resisting the whole idea of networking, this episode's for you. I'm Jill Avey, a career success coach, and this is SisterSmart Leadership, the show that explores how women can rise from director to vice president and beyond by fully leaning into their feminine energy as their biggest advantage. Let's get you one step closer to the recognition and promotion you deserve. See, the problem I see most often with mid-career women is that women have this allergic reaction to networking. They don't want to feel cheesy, sleazy, or like they're only out for themselves. They've seen others doing this and they don't want to be perceived in the same way. But the problem with this is it holds them back in their careers. I have 2 books for you to read on this topic, Give and Take by Adam Grant and The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker. In the SisterSmart Leadership Program, we go in depth into the framework by Adam Grant in his book, Give and Take. So I'll give you an overview here. Givers are, as you can imagine, the people who give in their network, and they find ways to help others, and they are constantly looking for what they can do for others. The problem with givers is that sometimes we overgive or we get taken by takers. And so we want to be watching out for takers. So what are takers? Takers are people who are just looking out for themselves and they just want to get what they can from you and they're not going to give you anything back. And then we have also what's called matchers. And this is people who only give as much as they get. And they're constantly kind of doing the calculation. And this isn't actually the place that we want to be. Where we want to be is really giving freely and knowing that when we put it out there, that it's going to come back to us in some form, but it doesn't have to come back to us from that same person. And so we can just give freely, not over giving, but giving enough that we know that it's going to be a virtuous cycle. So think about, what can we give? Some people feel like they have nothing to offer, and this really stops them from wanting to kind of engage in this style of networking. But we all have expertise that others need. So think about that doctoral student. She knew that I love research. Is there something that you're really known for in your field? I'm known for being an expert on women's leadership. So when people want to talk about what the latest research is or check about their research, they're going to come to me and ask me about what my opinion is on it. But we all have expertise that other people need. Maybe you know a lot about a certain topic and you've read all the research on it. You can be that go-to expert for that topic. Maybe you like writing and you can be somebody that people come to for quotes. Maybe you are an expert at social media and that is something that you can use to engage with others and develop a giving network. Perhaps you like to speak and you can be somebody that people can draw on for that. Are you a connector and you love putting people together? That can be a great service for others. Perhaps you love entertaining and you're somebody that is great at gathering people together or putting on an event. Maybe you like to organize things and you're one to make sure that everything is put together and running orderly. This can be great for events and when you're gathering people together as well. What do you geek out on that other people find mystifying? That's a great place to start. Next, think about how you can collaborate with people. I find this is the powerhouse of a giving network, is when you can start collaborating with others. So perhaps you start a podcast. I have clients that have started their own podcast about their topic, where their expertise is, and they can draw in people where they're interviewing industry experts and you get to know all kinds of people that way. You're showcasing your talents and you're showcasing their talents all at the same time. As well, you can collaborate on writing a book. There are a lot of books that are written as short stories or as stories that are examples of different people's expertise. Blogs and articles can be collaborative as well. I've been quoted in collaborative articles as well as blog posts and also collaborative LinkedIn posts. So I've also been a participant in several collaborative LinkedIn posts where one creator will bring together a bunch of people to create a post. And that's really fun to do. You really get to know people in a better way. So in our program, we have a 4-part training on how to create a social media presence as a professional. And this can be a powerhouse hub for how you can collaborate with others. You can get invited to speak at industry events this way because you get your expertise known in a broader scale with people whom you might not even have known were putting on an event, and now they know you because of your efforts in social media. You can get quoted in articles that people are writing because they've learned about you the same way. And it also helps you with visibility in your own company for your expertise, especially helpful when you have your next job search or being found by recruiters. So it's really important to invest some time into becoming one of the known experts on LinkedIn. What if you don't know how to write? A lot of people will hold themselves back from doing these kinds of things because they don't feel like they know how to write good enough. But there are plenty of coaching programs, or you can hire a writing coach if you want to write a book. There's a lot of coaches that can help you do that. And then there's programs that can help you learn how to blog or write social media posts, and that will fast track you to get there quickly and easily. So don't let that hold you back. Now, another way to think about it is that you could be a person who gathers people. So think about, how could you gather 3 to 10 people together that are experts in your industry or that are peers that you may want to get to know? Again, I want you to draw on The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker for this. She is an expert and she will inspire you to put together some kind of gathering if you read her book. And think about places that you can bring people together. So an industry conference is a great place because you're all together in one area and you could bring everybody together for a lunch or a coffee or a dinner. Breakfast is another good thing for conferences. And you can just take advantage of everybody being in the same city. As well, think about your own city and you could bring people together in your area for a dinner or same thing, breakfast or lunch or that kind of thing. Or when you travel to another city, that would be a great time to meet people in a particular place. What if you, a lot of my clients are in pharmaceuticals and there's a hub in New Jersey. So maybe you're traveling to that area for a specific event. You could pull together your colleagues in that area. And when you do pull everybody together, a meal is a great way. Food or drinks is always a great way to bring people together. But you could also think of doing a fun sport or an activity or even hosting a dinner at your own home. These are all ideas about how you can bring people together and where you can bring them together. I've had several clients who have gotten to know industry leaders by being on the board of their industry association as well. So particularly if there's a women's group, this can be really helpful because often women are supporting women, but don't rule it out if there's no women's group because men are big supporters of women. So either way, this is a good way to go. If you have time for this kind of involvement, this can be a more time-consuming, ongoing time commitment that you need to be prepared for. The benefit of it is that you expose yourself to people from a lot of different companies in your field, and this can be great for networking, particularly if you might be looking for a new job in the next year or two. But be careful to think about who you're actually meeting when you volunteer for the board. I recommend going for a membership role or being a person who looks for speakers at events or something like that, where you're reaching out to others and you're getting to know a lot of people versus working on something on the back end. I found this out the hard way myself because I tended to be the communications person who would be sending out the emails and things like that when I was volunteering, but that was a back end role and I wasn't meeting a lot of people that way. And it was much more beneficial for me when I switched to being the membership person. And I got to meet everybody new coming in and also working with the other board members kind of in a more direct way. Another great role that I did was to be the person who was creating the newsletter because that helped me to be able to reach out to specific people that I wanted to meet because I could interview them for the newsletter and write something up. So how to gather these people together? Who are the people that you really want to be in your gathering? So think about non-competitive people who are in the same industry and people that would you like to have a drink with them? Are they people that you want to meet? An example of this is that I regularly meet with other coaches and we pull together groups. We can talk about social media outreach. We can talk about business systems. We can talk about workplace trends for women, coaching tools and modalities, things like that. And we're here to help, and we approach it from an abundance mindset. So we're not worried about giving each other secrets or things like that. Of course, we're not going to talk about our trade secrets, and you're not going to talk about the things that really make your company stand out and give you your competitive edge. But there are so many other things. The other 90% of what you do can be things that you can talk about. And so you're just thinking through how you talk about those things and what you're talking about and what are those peripheral things that you can think of. So think about these common things that you face in your business. When I was in marketing, I met with other marketers who sold different products, and we were all facing the same industry trends, and we were trying to reach the same customers. So we had the same issues here. And it really helped each other to be talking about the industry trends and what we're seeing, and being able to discuss what does that mean to us and what does that mean for our future. And this often resulted in collaborations. And one of the best ones that I did was this event series where I brought people together from other companies, and I brought in their product that they were wanting to promote and really push for that next season. And it helped me build relationships with all those other marketing directors and really got my name out there in the business. In fact, that was how Timberland knew of my work before I interviewed with them. And they knew that they wanted me to do the same things for them as I did for my brand beyond that event even. So some things that you could talk about are industry trends, as I mentioned, upcoming challenges. What are the forces that are affecting your customers, for example? You don't have to divulge company secrets, as I mentioned, but what are you doing to solve different problems? What are the software tools that you're using, and how are you using them? And of course, you can talk about leadership, the personal side of the business, and how are we leading in our roles is something that you could always talk about. And it really helps you develop those personal relationships when you start to get real about how you're operating in, like, how you're being rather than what you're doing. So think about what you might be able to talk about with a group of people in your community. So at the end of each episode, I like to give you 3 shifts that you can make today to get started on what we've just talked about. So first, think about, what does giving mean to you? What are some things that you could give? And the second shift today is to identify one way that you could collaborate with someone in your industry. Is it through a dinner? Do you like to write? Your industry association? What's an entry point that you could make and make networking a giving thing for you? And third, identify one person that you could collaborate with. Who is someone that you would like to stay in touch with, but haven't had a good reason to do so? So what's one thing new that you learned in this episode? I'd love to hear where you would like to start giving. Share it with us in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're interested in taking your career to the next level, I invite you to check out our private podcast called The 7-Step Passport to Promotion. You can find that at SisterSmart.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes to take you right there. If you'd like to dive deeper into women's leadership and how to move up in your career, subscribe either on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I'm on a mission to help more women get into leadership and stay there. And if that's aligned with you, I'd love to have you be part of this community and tune into more episodes on SisterSmart leadership that will support you in becoming the leader you want to be. If you're ready to fully lean into your feminine leadership and get promoted from director to vice president and beyond, hit that subscribe button so you'll get all the episodes to come. And check out the recommended video here to see how women are rising up without playing by the old rules that built these male-dominated industries and systems.